Oh, what's up? It's Trev here coming to you. The bonus episode from Spread Love Free Market. I'm about to head to New York. I'm actually doing some packing now. Um, remember this? All right. For your arms. Power T. So I'm doing some packing, getting ready to leave very early in the morning back to New York City, which I can't wait to get there. It's been over a year, my longest time away from New York ever. 3 months. Sorry, 3 weeks was the previous high for one trip to Madrid. Other than that, I haven't been away from New York for more than 10 days, believe it or not. So this past year has been my first time living outside of New York. So I'm excited to get back. And of course, the purpose of this trip is to activate our neighbors uh, to support us for the Book of Free Things. The Book of Free Things. Remember that. Support us. How do you do that? There we go. The Book of Free Things. We are looking to activate free lunches and free groceries for our neighbors here in Florida, also in Brooklyn. We hope to activate a grocery and hot meals right at McCarran Park. So head on over to the link in our show notes. As little as $5 is what it takes to support us, a recurring member. We also have sponsorships for you small businesses. We send out hundreds of emails and newsletters and flyers and books every month. So head on over to our opencollective.com/SL, sorry, SPFM. Spread love free, sorry, SLFM. I don't think I ever said the initials out loud, but that's it. Or you could just head over to spreadlovefreemarket.com or just check out the show notes. So, as I said, it's a bonus episode. I'm packing to head out to the big city. You notice all my clothes, people that know me, I have black and gray. That's it. All I wear, black and gray. And just for the record, just so you know, none of these are all, everything I wear is purchased before the pandemic, way before, like years before. Purchase stuff that lasts, keep my carbon footprint to a minimum. And yeah, but it's all black or gray. I have an occasional splash of color. Maybe I wear a hat or something. Anyway, that's going off on a tangent. So we have a bonus clip from our interview with Vanessa Albury. This one deals with spirituality and God and the connection to religion. I've been on my spiritual journey. So after the episode, we got into a bit of a conversation, as Vanessa and I often do. So here it is, bonus clips from our last episode interview with environmental artist and activist Vanessa Albury. And I'll see you on the other side.
So in my eco awakening, my spiritual awakening was simultaneous, and it's an amazing, magical experience that's had a lot of challenges, but through that I've reclaimed, I went through a period where I didn't use the term God, because for me that was embedded in the very religious and controversial background that I have from my family. My father's a Jehovah's Witness and elder in this congregation. My mother's Catholic. They got divorced over religion, and they fought this ugly fighting. And I was the battleground and the prize to be won. It was just the whole God thing that was just really, really hard for me. But I always had a connection to this energy that what God is. But I for many years would just turn my back on it because it was too painful, the things around it. So I took that time also during the pandemic, and maybe like the year or two after, to reclaim that word God, because I do feel a connection to God. and some people call that source energy. Some people get a little more esoteric about it, but I really feel that there's a personality, a character that is there. There's, it's almost like another person, but many people somehow, like a greater. So I think, healing that wound and reclaiming God back from Christianity, which is, my God wound is from Christianity, but any major religious community can generate that kind of wounding. I was definitely not, my lifestyle is definitely not accepted by my family. I'm not invited to my dad's house anymore, for example, because he's afraid of the spiritual connection I have, and that something might happen to him. My connection is from unconditional love, so I don't know what bad could come from that, but it's not. I'm not here to judge his choices. But how about you? What's happened with your God relationship?
Well, yeah, that's when you said that, it really stood out to me, because I'm also going on a spiritual journey since I've moved down here. And I think that's part of what I was trying to say when you asked me, how is it down here? My family, so since we've been meeting at McCarran, since the pandemic, actually, my family, about 10 of all women, been meeting on Zoom every morning at 6 a.m. to go through the Bible. And they're still doing it. So they now do it five days a week. And I've always been curious, because I would be in New York and be talking to my sister, and I say, "You guys are still meeting?" She said, "Yes, we're still meeting." Oh, I would love to join one day, but I never got around to it until 2 or 3 weeks ago, when I started to make this connection between nature and the blueprint of nature. And I asked them, "Do you guys mind if I sit in on one of your meetings?" And I did. And in recent weeks, and even in recent days, and it happened actually, I guess, a couple of days ago, when this actual question came up, and I was speaking in the group, and I was going to say God, but I have this kind of what you're talking about, this wound, I guess. Yeah. And I said to them, "Listen, to communicate with you, I understand that you guys use this word." And I went through this long explanation about why I'm not going to use God. I'm going to use the spiritual one, or Allah, or the Yahweh, or whatever. And then one of my relatives said, "No, I use the word." She said to me that she felt the same way. She didn't use it because she didn't want to offend people. She felt like she was offending people, but that she now says that God does not shy away from embracing her. Why does she shy away from embracing them? Or pronouns, whatever, And I was like, wow. I've kind of felt like I was headed in that direction, because I'm coming closer and closer to being comfortable with that word. And I too feel like there is I've always felt that there was a higher power, but now reading the scriptures with them every morning, I see there's so many things that are like, wow, forget the religious aspect of it, the historical and the compass, and just the wisdom. It's the book is a book of wisdom and experiences. And I haven't quite made that final leap. We had another discussion about faith, and that the movie I sent you a documentary.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Marley.
It yet. It's my cue.
And I learned about that in this group. And the movie has to do with faith, and they spoke about faith, and this movie is such an example of faith, and it really kind of connected with me. And I watched that movie, I guess, a few days ago. That's why I sent it. And this is why when you said you and Caleb spoke about God, I was like, whoa, this is something that's now, this is literally days on my plate. And to hear you say that, and Caleb had a really good description as well about she is spiritual, she's religious, she uses that word. And so hearing you say what you just said is, wow, it's like, and you're not the only one. It's something weird. I shouldn't say something weird. This may not be, probably not going to use this on the camera, but Eddie is now religious. I don't know if you remember Eddie.
Yeah.
There's a few other people who are, and I can't remember the names, but there are a few other people that surprised me that they are connected spiritually in this way. Yeah. And I'm also now counting myself as one of them. So just want to share that. So yeah.
Beautiful. That's beautiful, Trevor. It's such a sensitive subject, you know? It's such a personal and emotional subject that it's one of those subjects that we keep in our pockets, right? We just keep close to our heart and we don't typically, you know, show it. And it's really beautiful to figure out how to embrace these truths that we find that resonate with us. Especially with family, and especially with family that's already very religious, you know, that can be tricky. So like,
Yeah.
good for you. It's a beautiful, I think it's like there's a softening that comes with it. It's like, you know, something is true, but you ignore it. And when you stop ignoring it and then you finally embrace it, then there's like a release, like a relief, like,
Yes.
like I can just like allow this now. Like I can just accept this now. It feels
Yes.
good, right? It feels like, okay, like this is right. Like, yeah, there's something here for me, right?
Yeah, and actually, when you spoke about control, that's why I started to relinquish some of my control because of
Mhm.
this,
Surrender. Yeah.
surrender.
When you start to notice that there's a greater power at hand, a greater energy moving around, even just gravity, like
Mm.
acknowledging gravity gives you a freedom, because you don't have to control staying on the earth. You get to just move on it,
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes.
So it's like when you give up control of being supported, of being loved, of being taken care of, when you release those controls to God, then suddenly you can just flow in them,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Yeah. It's such a because we think we have to control things, like we have to do certain things to make certain things happen. And it's just like life is a constant opportunity to trust that you're held,
Hmm.
you know? And so this is why I like I'm really into yoga, as like I follow a Himalayan yogi, Master Sri Akarshana, and he embraces all religious belief systems. It's not, any one system, but it comes from a Hindi tradition, so because it's yoga, right? Hindu and Buddhist tradition, um, and law of attraction is something that we talk about a lot. So like the law of gravity, the laws of physics,
Mm.
the law of attraction is the same thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's woo woo, that's like out there, but it's like, no, it's actually, this is how God works. Like
Mm.
these are like
Mm.
the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein actually talks about this stuff. And there's a quote that I just took a screenshot of yesterday. And he said, I have it right here. I know many of you have doubts about the intuitive hints that you get, but it is necessary to trust them. I would
Mm.
not have been able to discover what I discovered if I had ignored those messages from beyond.
Wow.
That's Einstein.
Wow. Oh.
And he says, and he goes on to say that it's it's physics. It's not okay. Everything is energy, and that is all there is. Tune to the frequency of reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It cannot be any other way. That's not philosophy, that's physics.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, there's something out there that we can't define, we don't understand, but it's there. The evidence is there.
Yeah.
And I see the evidence. Sometimes there's things that happen like, wow, that's no
Yeah.
way it's like, and you
Yeah.
deny it. You just say, oh, it's coincidence.
Yeah.
But it's just something else because it seems more intentional than that.
Especially when
Yeah.
it's like over and over and over and over. Like it's like Groundhog's Day. It's like, when are you gonna just accept that this is
Yeah.
how it is? You know?
That's kind of how I feel. Like, I feel like I'm going there. Okay, why don't you just get to it and do it as opposed to fighting it every day and it's like when I gave up a little bit, as soon as I relinquish some control, like I get a sign that you move
Yeah.
forward, that things that
Yeah.
you don't have. you're not stressed out for one,
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
You'll live longer and healthier and happier that way
Yeah,
than giving it up,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Um, so that's I may just have that as a bonus, and I also
Yeah.
I want to talk about the nomad thing more and relationship with money. You said you had that
Money.
going on
Hmm.
as well, and but we're gonna revisit another podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, for
For
sure.
sure. Well, when we do the conversation that I'll host, I definitely want to talk to you about money and how that like those developments and like money alignment with the integrity of your mission, because a lot of people stress about that, right? Like how do I do what I'm actually here to do and make money doing it? Like we have this, it's
Yes.
like somebody else makes money doing it, but you don't believe you can make money doing it. It's
Right,
like this
right.
belief system. There's like this incongruency between what we know we're here for and what we think we have to do to make money. And even if somebody else makes money doing that thing, somehow we don't believe we can do that. Like
Mm.
it's yeah. Anyway.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I love that thing, what you said that, and this is where also with the God thing is that you said that you are a conduit. That's not your idea. You're a
Yeah.
conduit. That's one of the things I've kind of embraced because of this. Like, this is not mine. It's not my idea. I'm
Yeah.
here being a vessel, a
Mhm.
message, and it's not about me. It's about community, So anyway, just
Yeah.
want to add that. I really loved when you
Yeah.
said that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it's freeing when when it's like, oh, I don't have to come up with all the good ideas. you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, I don't know, when that seahorse wrapped itself around my artwork, 3 months before it happened, I had a vision of a seahorse wrapped around one of my sculptures.
Yeah, you
And I
said
had
that. Yes, I
never
remember.
considered seahorses before. Like I had never thought about them before. And then it happened. And it's like, thank you, universe. It doesn't happen the way you like when you try to control it, it doesn't happen that
Hmm.
way. Like it's definitely
Yes.
not going to happen that way. It's
Yeah.
going to happen some other way, right?
I'm sorry I
Yeah.
didn't go into that more, actually. We didn't go into the seahorse thing because I really want to kind of talk about my experience. For me, seeing that video, and also, can you send me the video?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
send me the video because my experience with seahorses, just so you know, they are magical creatures to me. Like
Yes.
they, like honestly, when I saw that video, I forgot that they existed.
Oh,
When I was younger, they used to have these comic books, and make a sea monkey, they would call it, and
yeah.
I
Oh, I
put that in
remember
that
those.
same,
Yeah.
yeah, and I put that in the same category. Like seahorses, is that really a thing? But you have this little creature that has a head of a horse and a tail of a dragon. I'm like, whoa, and it's wrapping around like it's a whole magical thing that was going on. So I really love that.
Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the coolest. Yeah. They're so beautiful. It's funny too because the universe had been showing me seahorses for years and I didn't pay attention. Like there's this place in Norway that summer that I was on the boat in Norway, I was there for 6 months. I was on the boat for about 3 weeks, but I was in the country for 6 months on a couple different residencies, and I kept seeing seahorses on houses, like a little seahorse ceramic,
Okay.
like painted blue.
Okay.
And I just saw them all over the country. And I was like, that's so weird. Because like I don't think of seahorses as like Arctic fish. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
think of them as like Caribbean
Yeah. Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
But they're in the waterways in New York. They're in the waterways of
Really?
the Arctic. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's the waterways of New York are actually all salt water. Like the East River is not a river. It's a
I
tidal
heard you.
strait.
I heard you
Yeah.
say that, and I was like, "What? I don't even know what that is." A title straight.
It moves water between the Long Island Sound, which is
Oh, oh,
and the New York Harbor, which is all Atlantic Ocean water. It
oh,
goes like this, just,
oh! It's not coming from the mountains. In other words, it's coming from sea to ocean to. Oh,
yeah.
wow! Thank you for that.
And
Good to
because
know
of the
that.
shape of Manhattan, it also feeds into the Hudson. So the Hudson, even up a few miles north of Manhattan, is mostly seawater. It does have fresh water coming from the mountains, but because of that strong ocean movement in the East River, that also carries over into the Hudson. So the Hudson is
Oh,
actually all salt water too,
oh yeah!
in
Wow,
that lower part. Yeah.
that's funny. That I had no idea. This is why you're the
I know.
go-to environmental. expert. So I had
Environmental
no
nerds.
idea.
Oh,
Anyway, V, let me go because I
okay.
actually have to go record my episode for tomorrow right now.
Okay.
So,
I love it.
oh
So
man,
good
I
to
just
see you. I look forward to Thursday.
yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Do you want to do it at 2 o'clock? Still works for you?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, Vanessa. See you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Trevor.
All
Bye.
right, bye. So that was our bonus clip, our interview with Vanessa Albury, and just got some bad news. Literally, between the time I did the intro and I'm doing this outro, it flashed on my phone that we just lost Sinead O'Conner, and it's so sad when we lose someone. I recently just lost my uncle earlier today. I watched his funeral as well. Rest in peace, Uncle Cleve. Rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. And she, I didn't even have time to kind of go back and look at the history and her her journey as an artist, but I do remember, first of all, that wonderful haunting voice and the the stand that she took, the religious stand, which is ironic that we just finished this clip and she stood against the church and the Pope in that famous Saturday Night Live performance where I can't remember if she ripped it. I think she ripped a photo of the Pope. And she was always active in her beliefs. And um, we were going to take you out on a clip from another artist, but I think it's appropriate that we go out with the voice of Sinead O'Connor. So thanks again for listening. Spread love, free market. And here we have Sinead O'Connor. I'll see you all next week.
Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war until there's no longer first class or second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. I've got to say war. That until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, I say war. Until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, and the rule of international morality will remain just a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. And everywhere is war until the ignoble and unhappy regime which holds all of us through child abuse, yeah, child abuse, yeah, subhuman bondage has been toppled, utterly destroyed. Everywhere is war. War in the east, war in the west, war up north, war down south. There's war and the rumors of war. Until that day, There is no continent which will know peace. Children, children, fight. We find it necessary. We know we will win. We have confidence in the victory of good over evil. Fight the real enemy.